I have experienced being broke. I've experienced not being broke. And so what I'm going to do in this video today is I'm going to tell you what I would do, literally step 1, step 2, step 3, if I were broke again here in 2022. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, boy, I have something up my sleeve for you. You know how I always come on here and I give you all these tips and all these tricks, and sometimes you look at me and you're like, well, this is great and lovely, but I don't even have a job. I don't even know where to start. I'm broke, Anna, like broke. Here's the thing, guys. I tell my clients all the time, there is rarely anything you can tell me that I have not experienced already. I have experienced being broke. I've experienced not being broke. And so what I'm going to do in this video today is I'm going to tell you what I would do, literally step 1, step 2, step 3, if I were broke again here in 2022. The first thing that I would do is that I would have to adjust my mindset. I would have to really sit down with myself and understand that, hey, listen, this is where I'm at. I have to accept that this is where I'm at. There's no need for me to sit down and wish my life could be this and wish my life could be that, and if I never did this and if I never did that. That's a waste of your time, and we ain't got no time, all right? So you need to adjust your mindset to say, I can achieve anything that I put my mind to. I'm not trapped based on my circumstances. My circumstances do not dictate the quality of my life. The circumstances that I'm currently in do not dictate the quality of my life for the rest of my life. You have to understand the power that your brain has. You have to understand the power that your mind has. When you start to harness this power, then you will start seeing real results. I'm telling you, I could tell you what to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now. But if your mindset is not, if you don't have the proper mindset, it's just gonna be all in vain. So trust when I tell you, this is where you need to start. This is where I would start if I were broke again here in 2022. And just something to add to this point before I move on. You need to understand that money is fickle. I know it sounds weird. I know the money coach telling you money is fickle, but it's the truth. Money is fickle. It comes and it goes. That's literally the nature of money. It comes and it goes. You know what you need to realize? You need to realize that you are the asset. Literally, you are the asset. You are the way to bring in all of this money. You are the way that's going to happen. So even though you've lost all of your money, or even though you have no money right now, money is fickle. So okay, money is fickle. You are the asset. You are who is gonna bring this in. So once you understand and accept your power, then we can start working. My step 2, if I were broke again, would be that I would have to downsize my lifestyle immediately. And here's the thing. So many people, they know what they need to do, but because it's difficult, they know the sacrifices that they need to make, but because the sacrifices are difficult, they don't want to do it. But it doesn't change the fact that you need to make these sacrifices. Like literally. So if you live in a 1-bedroom house in Kingston, 1-bedroom apartment in Kingston, maybe you need to move out of Kingston somewhere that's a little bit cheaper, because that's what your lifestyle dictates right now. Maybe if you drive a $5 million vehicle, maybe you need to sell the $5 million vehicle and drive a cheaper vehicle. Let me just say, a vehicle is a vehicle. It takes you from point A to point B just the same, right? So I would have to do all of these things. I would stop going out as much as I do. Yes, stop. I would stop. Not just like with fancy going out. I don't really go out like fancy go out anyway. But, you know, in terms of eating out, I'd have to cut that out dramatically. I'd have to cut that out. I'd have to go back on my mackerel and rice diet. There was once upon a time in my life I was on a mackerel and rice diet, when I needed to literally make some changes in my life immediately in terms of my my portfolio. I realized that the sacrifices that I needed to make, and I was prepared to make them, and I was on a mackerel and rice lifestyle for a bit. So I'd have to go back to that lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with mackerel and rice. Mackerel and rice, shot. If you just need to know to cook it, you understand? But I would have to do that. I'd have to cut out social events. I'd have to cut off subscriptions, whether it is Amazon Prime. I don't have Amazon Prime now, but if you have Amazon Prime, or it is Apple Music, or you know, the little $1 app them, $1 app them per month, cut off all of that. I would have to cut off all of that. We're downsizing. Even when it comes to grocery shopping, I'd have to change supermarkets. I'd probably go back downtown, go to market. Once upon a time I used to get my produce from the market. I'd have to go back there. Coronation, I'd have to go back there. I probably have to start going back to the meat shop. I just have to change the way I shop. So these changes, yes, some of them sound dramatic and drastic, but this is the kind of sacrifice that you're going to have to make if you want to see a change in your life. So I'd have to downsize dramatically immediately. Now let me pause here to say that even if you're living a lifestyle that is not synonymous to what I just described, for example, you don't live in Kingston, you live in Portmore, maybe you don't go to AC Hotel every Friday, maybe you just buy KFC every week. These are changes that you also can cut out. You can still find somewhere cheaper in Portmore. Maybe you live in I don't know, maybe you live in a $50,000 per month place in Portmore. Find a $25,000 per month place, like get a 2-bedroom and rent out one of the rooms, get a roommate. That's kind of what you have to go back to. If you go to KFC every week, cut out that. Go fry your own KFC. So there are changes that everybody can make. It's just starting out with, if you get to the position of, oh, I am broke again. Now, obviously, if you're starting out in a position where you cannot make any more sacrifices, this would not apply to you, right? So you pay attention a couple steps down. I'm talking about somebody who probably would have, had a dramatic change in their income or their portfolio and they're broke again. Literally, this is if I were broke again, this is what I would do. Another thing to note in relation to the downsizing your lifestyle, this is something that people don't really remember whenever something dramatic happens, like they get a reduction in their salary. If you have, for example, unit trust investment policies that require a fixed monthly payment, yes, investment is good, but if you don't have the money, you just don't have the money. So maybe you need to reduce that temporarily. When you're back on your feet, you can bring it back up. Not your insurance though. Insurance is something that you should never play with, right? With respect to your coverage. Talking about investment policies that you may have. You may want to look to see how better you can adjust those policies in the interim. My step 3, I would put out my resume everywhere. Me not partial. You can't afford partial now. You have to put out your resume everywhere. Not just with what in the industry that you studied or the field that you studied, not just in the industry that you worked. Put out your resume everywhere. 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 I can't stress this enough. Everywhere. We just need a job. We need a job to be able to pay the bills. That's what we're looking at. We need a job to pay the bills. I don't care if it's a call center. I don't care if it's as an assistant to somebody else. I don't care. I just need a job. And so I put on my resume everywhere to just get a job. The point of this job, as I said, is to just pay my bills, which I would have downsized in my step 2, but I still need to pay them anyway, so that's why we need this job. Now, you're going to say to me, oh, it's easier said than done, can't find no work. That is, I don't want to say it on YouTube. You can't find a job. I have over 200 clients on a monthly basis. I've coached over 400 clients in my life. And I can tell you that what you're sitting down saying you can't find a job is because you have been too partial. You don't want no work with this, you don't want no work with that, you don't want no work when I do this, and you don't want no work when I do that. You want to step up in a heel, and you want clack in your heels, you don't want to do no little labor work, no nothing. It's because you're being too partial. There are jobs available, I am telling you. So I would, as I said, just get a job to be able to pay my bills. That's what I'm looking at. That's my step 3, I believe. My step 4 would be that I would assess my skills and my talents as I am and as they are. So if I have a talent of just talking, for example, let's say I'm very good at sales. I'm very good at convincing people to do things, like to buy this or to go here or go there. Then I'd probably, number 1, accept the fact that that's a skill, and I would try to find another job, like a commission-based job. That's very important because remember, we ain't got the time. We want a job that we can be able to do on our own schedule, because remember, we have a 9 to 5 from step 3. So something that requires sales that I can do on my own time. Or let's say I have a skill of I'm very good with words. Maybe I would list myself on Fiverr as something to do with writing. There's a whole category of jobs that you can do with respect to writing on Fiverr. So I would sit down and assess my skills, my talents. Let's say I don't know, there's so many skills that you can have. I can install wigs. If I can install wigs, then I probably do that on the weekends. If I'm very good at photography, I do that on the weekends. If I'm very good at editing and like graphics, then I do that in my spare time or the time that I'm not at work. But the bottom line is I would have to assess something I am good at something I'm good at, and I'd make that another source of income, which would be my source number 2. My next step would be that I would have to go on, what I would do is I would go on YouTube and I would learn another skill. I don't care what it is, just another skill. It's not about no passion right now. We need to be realistic. It's not about working in passion and being happy and blah, blah, blah. No, we're broke and we need to not be broke. So I would go on YouTube. I would learn as many skills as possible, whether it is in coding, it is in graphics. If I learn graphics, I can just download Canva, which is for free, and I'll be able to produce graphics content, social media content for people. So it is that's basically what social media is you producing content and graphics for people with a social media page. So I would do that. The app is free. I can just go on YouTube, learn how to use it, start creating content for these people. Or it is to be a virtual assistant. I'd go on YouTube and learn how to do that. Coding is pretty big. I could go on YouTube and learn that. Or, I want to be Google certified with respect to like cloud tech. That's what I would do. I would look to so many different skills that I can learn on YouTube. I would learn as many of them as possible, and I would pay attention to the ones that do not require any capital input. They do not require any time restraint. They don't have any time restraints, so I can do them in my spare time. I would look to services that I can do concurrently. So I would look to something that I can do in 15 minutes at any point, at any time. Like I don't have to be trapped at any one location. I can do it on my computer, on my phone. I would look to as many of these as possible. So many of them are on YouTube, and so many of them you can learn. What I would tell you is that go on Fiverr.com to get an idea of the services that you could potentially offer. So that's I forget what step we're at, but that's what I would do next. Next, I would create as many digital products as possible. If there is something that I know more than the average person, then I would find a way to distill this down to like a formula, or make it relatable and make it into a manner where it's understandable, easily understandable by just an average person. I would teach this content and I would sell this content. You probably say, I don't know anything more than an average person. Well, go learn something that the average person is interested in but can't really understand it. Go learn it. When you learn it, you convert it into a digital product, so it doesn't force you to, it's not locking on to your time. Once you get this product off the ground, you just set it and forget it. You don't have to pay any attention to it anymore. I would create as many of these digital products as possible. Not just digital, but in terms of, if I have a credit card, I would write a book, a physical book too, and use a credit card to pay for getting the publishing and everything done. And you start your marketing before you even put anything on a credit card. Start your marketing for the book. Then once the books hit shore and they are available for sale, you get them sold within the 3 weeks, pay off the credit card, and you make a profit. So the point is that digital products, books, like I talk about this all the time on my Instagram. Guys, you need to write books. Write books, whether it is actual books or digital like ebooks, you need to write books. It just requires one-time effort, upfront effort, and then you just set it and forget it type of thing, and you just make some money. You understand? So if you need to do this, if you don't know how to write a book, you don't know the first place to start, you don't even know what to write about, go on my website, annapalomino.com. There is a product on that website called Self-Publish Your Way to Dubai. It's an ebook that literally takes you from the very beginning of writing a book to the very end of self-publishing and marketing your book. It has everything in there, even a schedule, a writing schedule. It helps you come up with an idea to write about. It tells you what you need to be paying attention to, where you need to be looking. It tells you how to market it, how to get it on Amazon, for example. Go get that book to start. So my point is, back to the thing, I would do as many digital products and as many books as possible. And this, by the way, would be either source 3 or source 4, depending on how you have looked at it. I say either source 3 or 4 because if I found an additional skill, remember the last step I told you, if I found an additional skill that I would learn on YouTube and I was able to monetize that, that would be considered source 3, source of income number 3. And the digital products would be considered source of income number 4. But if you're not able to find an additional skill, then the digital products would be considered source number 3. With these 3 or 4 sources of income, you should be able to pay your bills and build an emergency fund really quickly, because that's what I've been focusing on like almost immediately. I would need an emergency fund stat. So all of these different sources of income that I'm establishing them because I want to build an emergency fund really quickly, and I don't want to spend much time doing it. So having as many sources of income as possible helps you hit that target ASAP. So with these 3 sources of income, you should be able to pay your bills and you should be able to build up your emergency fund relatively quickly. My next step after this, guys, would be I would aggressively focus on sources 2 and 3 and 4, depending on how you would have been counting them so far. But I would basically focus aggressively on all my sources of income, excluding my 9 to 5 income. Yes. Pay attention. The 9 to 5 income is trapping you with respect to your time. You in order to earn this income, you have to put in the time, the 9 to 5, which is not really, gonna cut it out. That's not gonna cut it for me at all. So I would aggressively focus on all of my sources of income except for my 9 to 5. I would still obviously give like the effort required to keep my 9 to 5, but I would not be busting my ass on my 9 to 5. I just make sure I do a good enough job to keep being employed so I can keep paying my bills. But I'd aggressively focus on all my other sources of income, because my next step would be to start on my investment account. I would start buying stock as soon as my emergency fund is done being built. I would start investing aggressively. And I'm not telling anybody here to invest aggressively. None of this is financial advice. I'm just telling you what I would do. I would invest aggressively, especially now with COVID and the war that's happening. The market is gonna dip a little bit, and now is when I would buy in, because if all the stocks would be, or majority the stocks that would have dipped, that would be considered a discount in my eyes. I'm getting these great stocks at a discount, so I would aggressively focus on these things so that when the market picks back up, the value of my portfolio picks back up with the market. So I would do that, and then just in addition to focusing on my stock account, I would focus on the sources of income that I see I can sustain even into retirement. So for example, my digital products, I would focus my time on producing more and more and more and more, because these sources of income are sources of income that you kind of set and forget. You just sit down and keep collecting money. So more and more. The more money I make, the more money I'm putting in producing more. And when these sources of income start spewing money, spewing returns, as I said, I'd focus on my stock account, I'd focus on my unit trust products, I'd focus on real estate. And this, my friends, is how I would treat the situation if I were broke again here in 2022. Literally, it's like a blueprint. So you can let me know if this helps you. But like, I can't say this, I don't know how else to say this. This is literally what I would do if I were broke again. And this is actually what I've done. Listen, let me tell you something. I don't just know me I try. You understand? I don't just know me I try. Me I try from me about 15 years old. Me I try. Understand? And I've hit it and I've missed. And I've hit it and I've missed. I've hit it and I've missed. Right? So that's why I tell you that I know what you're going through. Literally, this whole video is what I've done. Every time I've, hit it and missed, this is what I would have done to have gotten back up, right? In terms of how to stabilize it, the growth, and not to like hit it and miss. One solid piece of advice I'll give you before I close is number 1, do not invest before you have an emergency fund. Do not invest in risky things before you have a fully built out foundation for your investment portfolio. So basically, if you invest in things and you make a loss, like a big loss, you take a big loss, you're not starting from zero like I was. You're starting from the foundation of your portfolio, which you would have still been good because it's a foundation. You'd have only invested something that you could afford to lose. That's a big tip I would give you. So anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful. Please don't forget to, if you find the content helpful, like, share, subscribe, because it boosts the algorithm. It boosts the video in the algorithm so other people can come across this kind of content. I'd really appreciate it. All right, see you in my next video. Bye.